let's talk about one of the most stressful things a dog owner can go through, that sudden, explosive aggression between dogs. It feels chaotic, right? Totally random. But what if I told you it's not random at all? What if it's actually a conversation? One we're just not hearing correctly. Okay, let's dive in.
So picture this. You're out on a walk. It's a perfectly nice day. Your dog is trotting along, happy as can be. And then, bam, a lunge, a snarl, this terrifying bark at another dog who's just minding its own business. And you're left there holding the leash, feeling confused, maybe a little embarrassed, and definitely worried. If that sounds even vaguely familiar, trust me, you are not alone.
You know, this quote from a Reddit user just nails it. They're saying, look, my dog is a social, easygoing guy, and yet this completely out-of-character, aggressive bark just happens for what feels like no reason at all. It's that exact moment that leaves you scratching your head thinking, what in the world just happened? Why?
And that leads us right into this idea of the no reason reaction. It feels like it comes straight out of the blue, doesn't it? No trigger, no warning. But is that what's really going on?
So, here it is. The absolute key to all of this. There is always a reason. Always. It is never truly random. It's a reaction. The problem is that Reddit user put it so perfectly, we humans just aren't always privy to the conversation. Our dogs are having this whole silent dialogue, using scent, using tiny little shifts in their body that we just don't see.
So if we want to get in on that conversation, we have to basically become detectives. We've got to start peeling back all the different layers that go into how our dog sees the world, and especially how they see other dogs.
I want you to think of your dog's behavior like an onion. Seriously. The reaction we see on the outside, that bark, that lunge, that's just the papery skin. Underneath, you've got all these layers. There's their genetics. I mean, what was this dog bred to do? A husky is built for teamwork, but an Akita was bred to guard, which can make them way less tolerant of other dogs. Then you've got the socialization layer. Did they have good experiences as a puppy, or did something traumatic happen? And don't forget physical health. Could they be in pain? Each of these layers adds to that final reaction, and that socialization layer, it is incredibly time-sensitive. Vets and behaviorists talk about this prime window between about 3 and 16 weeks of age. This is the time. This is when lots of positive, safe experiences with all kinds of dogs and people build a confident dog for life. If they miss that window, well, it gets a whole lot harder to shape those social skills later on.
And sometimes the reaction is simply about location. This is what we call territorial aggression. It's when a dog sees another dog or a person as an intruder in their space. And that could be the house, the car, or even that park bench they've claimed. But here's the crucial mindset shift. This isn't about your dog being a jerk or dominant. It's almost always rooted in anxiety. They're afraid. And that big, loud display is their way of screaming, "Go away! You're scaring me!"
Okay, so if our dogs are talking all the time, how do we finally learn their language? This is the good part. This is where you get the secret decoder ring, because once you can read their nonverbal cues, you can hear them whispering, long before they ever feel the need to shout.
First up, the eyes. This is so subtle, but so critical. On one hand, you have soft eyes. The lids are relaxed, they might even be a little squinty. That's a calm, happy dog. But then you have hard eyes, and you know it when you see it. It's that cold, fixed, intense stare. That's a warning. That dog is telling you they are in a negative state of mind and they see something as a potential threat. And the tail. Oh, the tail. We've all been taught a wagging tail means a happy dog, right? Well, that's not the whole story. A wagging tail simply means a dog is emotionally aroused. You have to look at how it's wagging. Is it held up high, wagging fast and stiffly, almost vibrating? That's a highly aroused, assertive dog, not necessarily a friendly one. The wag we're looking for is that slow, sweeping, relaxed wag from a neutral position. That's your friendly greeting. And there are so many other whispers before the bark. A yawn when it's not nap time, that's often a sign of stress. A quick lip lick, that's anxiety. And when they turn their head and you see the whites of their eyes, what trainers call whale eye, they are deeply uncomfortable.
These are all their attempts to calm themselves down, or to politely say, "I'm not okay with this. Please give me some space." So once you start hearing these whispers, your entire approach can change. You stop trying to control a behavior you don't understand, and you start managing the situation to keep your dog feeling safe. And that means we have to totally rethink punishment.
This quote right here is incredibly important. If a dog is acting out because they are afraid and we punish them for it, what have we just taught them? We've just confirmed their fears. We've proven that when that other dog shows up, scary things do happen. We've just added ourselves to the list of scary things and made the root cause, the anxiety, even worse.
And this is the truly dangerous part. Punishment doesn't fix the feeling. It just silences the warning. You might teach your dog to stop growling, but the fear is still there, just boiling under the surface. And what you end up with is a dog who seems to tolerate things right up until the moment they bite, seemingly without warning. But in reality, we just train them not to give us one.
So what do we do instead? We manage the environment. Here's a much safer blueprint for introductions. You always start on neutral ground, never in the home. Start by just walking in parallel, far enough apart that both dogs are calm, and reward them for just looking at each other calmly. If they both stay relaxed, you can gradually shrink that distance. Maybe you allow a very brief 3-second sniff on a loose leash. And then, this is the most important part, you move them apart and end the whole thing on a high note before anyone gets stressed.
Ultimately, when you make this journey from being confused to being an expert listener, your entire role as an owner shifts. You stop being a frustrated master and you become their trusted advocate.
And this is the real takeaway. Maybe your dog will never be the life of the party at the dog park. And you know what? That is perfectly okay. Just like people, dogs have their own preferences. Our job isn't to force them to like every dog they meet. Our real job is to listen to them, to respect their boundaries, and to protect them from situations that make them feel scared or overwhelmed. By learning their language, you gain the power to change the entire conversation. You can see discomfort before it turns into fear, and you can see fear before it ever has to escalate to aggression. So the question is, now that you can read their signals, how will you listen differently the next time you walk out the door with your dog?